Undoubtedly, weather is one of the biggest factors impacting cattlemen and their marketing prospects. And that's our subject in this week's Market Watch.
Market Watch.
Joining me now to talk more about the impact of the lingering drought and the outlook for our cattle market is Jim Robb. He's the Director of Marketing for the Livestock Marketing Information Center. Thanks so much for coming back to the show, Jim.
It's a pleasure to be here.
You know, we've heard a lot of differing reports from around the country relative to this rainfall. Are we working our way out of this drought?
I think we are largely. We still have lingering impacts, as you mentioned, in some areas are still in drought. We look at the USDA data for the most recent week. Last year, we had about 60% of the pasture and range in the U.S. in the poor and very poor categories. And today, we have just under 30%. Wow. So a big improvement, but still droughts tend to have a lingering impact.
So what's your sense of what this means, particularly to the grain and forage markets?
Well, certainly we have a much bigger corn crop than a year ago. The forage side is a little tougher regionally. You know, we have much more different conditions. So when we look at grain prices overall, they're going to be lower. Maybe hay prices don't come down quite as fast. And so I think producers need to keep that in mind.
You just told me that you just returned from a trip to Nebraska. What are you seeing with these feeder calf prices now, and what do you anticipate as we move into the fall months?
We've actually had a very strong, last year prices just collapsed over the summer months in the calf and yearling marketplace. This year we've actually had a rally. If we look at this past quarter, or the quarter we're in right now, we're up about 2% year to year on the fed cattle market, 9% year to year on the yearling market, and 15% year to year on the calf market. Now, on the Southern Plains, that's $22 per hundredweight, higher than a year ago. So certainly the improved conditions are part of that, lower corn prices, and a pretty strong overall beef market.
That's real improvement. And look into your crystal ball for us, Jim. What do you see moving forward outside this fall? And more importantly, how would you anticipate producers should be planning as they think about their marketing plans?
Well, there's still a lot of unknowns on this corn crop. We know it's bigger, but how much bigger will be a determining factor, especially on calf prices in the fourth quarter. We're looking at fed cattle prices in the fourth quarter about 3% above a year ago. Calf prices probably fully 10% above last year, maybe a little bit stronger. So that's really good news. We look a little bit further ahead, you know, we're looking at stronger prices in 2014. We do have a smaller cow herd than we did a year ago, still shrinking because of the lingering impacts of drought. But producers actually this year have a lot more options to look at, where last year really drought sort of drove their decision making. We have a lot of options on how to market calves this year, and even our cull cows that we need to look at.
Well, I was going to follow up with you on a question about cull cows. We're getting into weaning time now, and what would you advise relative to how producers should think about these cull cows?
Very dependent on your forage base and your availability of forage to hold cows. Last year, we really didn't have a very strong cull cow market, and then it didn't gain strength into the new year. This year, I think it'll be the opposite of that. We'll probably gain strength into 2014. So maybe those with a good forage base and maybe some options, maybe they've already pulled down their livestock numbers, may want to look at this cull cow marketing strategies a little closer, because there may be some opportunities there, much more than we've had in recent years.
Hold those cows, put some pounds on them, and wait to market them till a little later.
If we can do that economically, it might be a strategy to look at.
Very good. It's always good to have you on the show. Thank you for your perspective.
Thank you.
To find out more about the cattle markets and to see video replays of our episodes, just visit our website at cattlemantocattleman.org.